Are you trying to do the giant choir there? No, we
Okay.
got it, dude.
What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. We hunt for the good reels so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. Chris is over here to my left. Bert's not here with us. He hasn't seen this new movie, so we wanted to jump in and do a review. Both of us, both Chris and I, just got out of the theater watching this movie, and we just kind of wanted to pop something up here as our immediate reaction. We have a series coming up down the road here called WTF Did I Just Watch, that we've been planning on doing, where we just watch something off the rails entirely, and we talk about it a little bit. And I think this might be an early debut, unofficial episode maybe of that.
The inaugural episode of What the Fuck Did I Just Watch?
It might have to be, because wowza.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the movie, we're going to talk some spoilers. We're not going to dig like all the way into the spoilers, but yeah, we're probably going to dig into the spoilers pretty good. So if you haven't seen the movie, be sure to watch that first if you care about that, and then come back after. So we're going to talk about it from there. And if you do enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, as we are on our quest to 400 subscribers. So Brett Man can be wearing that Spider-Man outfit to see Spider-Man in December, which is going to be awesome. We need 27 more to go, 28, somewhere in that ballpark, right around the corner. So every little bit of help helps big time. Anyway, let's get into this Green Knight thing, my friend, because let's just talk about it from maybe kind of briefly from the opening to the end, man, and go from there, man. Because what the hell did we just watch?
Yeah. I will say that if you do pot, if you partake in the Mirror of Jehovah, I would say roll you up a foghorn leghorn and smoke that baby before you go into the theater. I think that's probably the best way to watch this thing. I didn't do that. I'm just saying I think that's probably could amplify the enjoyment there. I was excited. I have to say this is probably with the release dates have been all fucked up pretty much all year, and everything's been really fluid. I love A24 and I love David Lowery, so I've been looking forward to this one for a while. And the trailer really set this thing up, to kind of made it look great. Not that it's not, but it is a little different, I think, than what the trailer leads you to believe. Do you think that's the case?
Honestly, I don't really remember the trailer that much. I remember you sent it to me. I watched it and I was intrigued by it, but I only watched it the one time, and I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what it was supposed to be about. I didn't know anything really about the story. I've since kind of looked into it a little bit, and just basically all I know is that it's a poem from the King Arthur days about a Sir Gael. What's his name?
Gawain.
Gawain, Gawain. Yeah. Sir Gawain here.
Gawain, okay, yeah, whatever.
And that's pretty much all I know. It's based off of a poem. So I don't know anything else. Usually with any of these A24 movies, I find myself doing a little bit of research after the fact before I make a decision on what I think about the movie, because I know with a lot of these, they put it's all about the symbolism and everything pretty much with these stories. So I like to get a sense for that. I haven't really done that yet, because I wanted this to be a true reaction to what the hell we just witnessed. And I didn't want this necessarily to be some kind of fancy explanation video, because that's not really what we do here. So that's really all I know. And I don't really remember the trailer, to answer your question in short, that well. But yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I would throw that in there because I thought it set this thing up pretty nicely, and I've been looking forward to this one for a while. So, but right from the opening, the one thing I want to say is like the cinematography in this thing is phenomenal. There are a lot of really great shots, a lot of really great camera work, and it's like from the first frame, you can tell that it's really really good cinematography throughout, and And really, something I noticed probably within the first like 15 or 20 minutes, like there was really great. A lot of times in these period pieces that can be kind of, that can be kind of things can be left out, or it can be kind of, the CGI can feel a little overbearing at times and things like that can kind of little things like that can kind of take you out of it a little bit. And I thought they did a really great job with the attention to detail and stuff like that. You could tell from pretty early on, getting this thing going. And I thought that was a big piece of it. Um, but yeah, I love that it didn't take any time at all to get this thing to get the story rolling. I mean, it's the
Boy,
setup happened pretty quickly.
if Bert were here, he would say this story was rolling faster than them heads at the beginning, like that. He would say something like that just to get us rolling in the right direction. And he's not wrong, because yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I agree. I really do appreciate that as well. I do think what you said about the cinematography is spot on. That opening shot was awesome with I think it was some horses coming back through the window, and a lot of that throughout the film. And alongside that would be the atmosphere that it brings, because you're kind of immersed into this and you get a sense of the time frame that they were going for, which I believe was 1400s or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, I failed history, so don't ask me.
Great atmosphere though. Like even like that, there's that sequence there where he's riding out of his home town there, on the horse, and it's just a long sequence of him riding a horse, and the town's kind of getting smaller, and he's riding away, and he's kind of getting that. It was a great shot. And a little bit later, we see him coming up to an intersection, and there's this little skeleton in the damn hanging basket thing. I don't know words, but that's what he was doing. And all that stuff just adds to the atmosphere here. And I thought that was great, for sure, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that set it up really nicely. And so it took a little bit of a different direction there in the beginning. I'm not sure. I mean, we're talking spoilers, so man, what did you make of these witches in there? What was that whole fucking whatever seance? Fucking, I don't know what you call that, man.
So this is where my lack of they were witching up the emergence of the Green Knight. I don't know, dude. I just don't know. I honestly don't know anything because I haven't looked up the deets yet.
They're witching, man. I mean, not doing much, just witching, dude.
Yeah, they're witching. So here's how basically it starts out. They're witching it up. Freaking King Arthur's in here with his boy Sir Gael. No, Gawain. Okay, I keep thinking that Gael from How I Met Your Mother. Gawain. So he's sitting there, and then the Green Knight comes rolling in, and he's like, "Hey, hit me with your damn sword, and you can have my axe for a year, and then I'll come hit you the same way you hit me." And then Gawain's like, "Okay, cool, no problem." He does that, but instead of just giving him a little bit of a nick, he cuts his damn head off. So he's like, "Next year, you got to come in and get your head cut off." It's essentially the deal that he made. And I mean, to me, I feel like the whole thing could have been avoided had he just not done the whole full head cut off situation. I think from what I understood is like, however you cut this man, you still get the axe regardless. You don't have to chop his head off. You can cut him. You could cut his fingernails for all I care. And then next year you go back and he does to you what you do to him.
But to be fair, that's not explicitly stated. He just said, have one of your best men try and land a blow against me. And then 1 year hence, I will try to land a blow against them. It's not explicitly stated that it is an exact trade. Like, whatever you do to me, I'm going to do to you. He just says, try to land a blow against me. And then when you come back, or maybe you're just smarter than I am, and I didn't read into that enough.
Well, I thought he did say, I'm going to land the same blow to you next year or whatever. But maybe he didn't. I don't know. That's just kind of what I thought. But either way, that's kind of how the thing starts off. And he does it, and then it just kind of cuts ahead to just a little bit before that 1 year mark. So then we get this big ass journey for Gawain to go out to fulfill his destiny, rather, make this journey out to the Green Chapel and find the Green Goblin, the Green Knight, and get his head chopped off. Essentially, is the deal that he made.
God damn it. Can you imagine how awesome it would have been though if he got to the Green Chapel and instead of the Green Knight, it was just Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin? Just
out am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I love the scene, even like the round table, or I guess it's not the round table, whatever that little hall is where they're partying and all that shit. Um, Sean Harris, great job. And I like that, it's definitely not like King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, like the Guy Ritchie movie that came out a couple years ago. Like this King Arthur is like old, this is the tail end of his whole reign. He's like can barely pick up his sword. He's fucking old. He's been through the ringer. And so I like that kind of, you don't usually get to usually King Arthur's like Charlie Hunnam, or what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
Oh, the six pack and shit. So it's cool to see him in his later years. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, so he sets out and and there's you were talking about atmosphere and stuff, man. Do you get the sense of like whenever he heads out throughout the whole journey, there's almost like this really like I would say like a dreamlike state, you know what I mean, that it kind
Yeah.
of maintains throughout. Like it always kind of feels like you're kind of like floating in reality or something. I don't know. The cinematography and everything, and of course, I mean, it is a fantastical story, anyways, but the atmosphere and everything really kind of lends itself to that it's just like you're always just kind of floating in a dream or something. At least I got that sense out of it, and I thought that was really cool. That's one of the things I liked about it the most. But yeah, so as he goes on these adventures and shit, I love the chick who has been slain, and she's like, "Don't ask any questions, dude. My head's in the pond." You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, "Your head's on your neck, my lady." And she's like, "Don't ask any fucking questions. Just jump in there and get it." I thought that was pretty cool.
And that pond was deep, dude. Like I don't know what
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but it was a deep ass pond, man. You had to go way down to get that head.
Yeah, and now thinking about it too. I just said the dreamlike thing. Yeah, he almost goes into like that trance or whatever, like when he's down there swimming and all that shit. And another really great sequence and a really great shot. Some great underwater footage there. And so yeah, but he's going along the quest, and of course he gets fucked over almost immediately because even though he's trying to fulfill his destiny and achieve this high honor and all this, he really at heart he's kind of like a playboy or something. And so he's not really like this renowned fighter or anything like that. So he, I think yeah, he gets fucked over first.
He does
before he
yeah.
before he runs into that chick. Yeah, so I mean, like pretty much as soon as he bumps into other people, he there's
My direction's not worth anything to you.
Yeah, Barry. I'm sorry, I always forget this kid's last name. Barry Keegan. I don't know. I think he's Irish. Maybe he's English. I can't remember. Great actor though in Dunkirk and The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which also deserves a spot on WTF that I just watched. Have you seen that before?
I have not. Well, it's been on our list for a long time, but I can go ahead and tell you pretty much any A24 movie is going to meet the criteria, I think, at this point.
Yeah. But he's great in that. But anyways, yeah, he did a great job there, and yeah, they pretty much steal his clothes and
his horse and the axe.
Of course, yeah, pretty much take everything except for a sword they leave on the ground, which enables him to get out of there. And then he meets the chick in the woods, and then and then perhaps the most WTF moment in the whole fucking thing. Please, Brad, take us through the giant sequence.
Dude, that's what I was going. What the fuck was the Giants, man? He was walking this. He goes in. He does this little pond dive. All that we've already talked about. And then he keeps on walking. He meets a fox though first, right? He meets a fox, yeah, in the cave, and he's like get out of here, fox. And the fox does the old double back technique, and he comes back in the other side, and he's like, I'm going to hang around. And so he's hanging out with this fox. The fox is kind of following him. He eats some mushrooms, which might explain the whole freaking last part of this movie. I don't know. And then he gives the fox some mushrooms too. The fox seemed to like him more than he did. And then maybe the mushrooms are where the Giants came from. Because I don't have any reasonable explanation for what the fuck. I mean, now granted, biggest titties ever.
Exactly what I was gonna say, dude. Perfect placement. I couldn't take my eyes off them, and I know that he's just like down there screaming at him, and he's like, "Please, bring one to me, feed me." And this is reminding me of. Do you remember the scene in Game of Thrones whenever Tormund, I can't the giant guy or the half giant guy with the giant red beard, when he's telling that story, and he's like, I breastfed from a giant, and he's pretty much like telling everybody's like, I killed this guy, swapping war stories, and then he's like, I sucked a giant's titty, and he drinks the milk out of the horn or whatever. But nevertheless, yes, it's a weird sequence, and then it's made even weirder by the fact that he asked them for directions, just like, hey, excuse me, never mind that you can kill me with one of your fingernails. Excuse me, which direction are you headed? And they don't respond. So then essentially the fox sets off a choir alarm. What the fuck was that?
Well, he responds first because he was about to, woohoo! He was about to pick him up. She was about to reach down, and I don't know. He got freaked out. He was like, "Oh no!" And then the wolf steps in, or the fox steps in, and he goes, "Oh!" And then it starts this whole howling frenzy where it's like they all get together, dude. There's one of the giants had a baby holding a baby. Yeah,
I know. And they're just like walking off, and they almost look like the engineers too from Prometheus.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
they're all bald, and they're just like I don't know, man. That was the biggest what the fuck moment for me, where I was like, golly, man, thank God I'm not high right now, because I think I would be like, I don't know, like in a fetal position or something. That was the weirdest shit.
That was one moment I just did not get, dude. I was like, what the hell? At that moment, I knew this was going to be a WTF episode.
I didn't mind it. Like, like I said, it's really a dreamlike movie, and I knew that it was going to be, it was going to sort of be on that fantastical side. Excuse me. And so I was willing to go with it, but I think it was made even more awkward by the fact that they just show up for the one scene, and then they start howling, and then they're just like, they're basically like, their lungs are didgeridoos, I guess. I don't know. And they're just like, and they just walk off into the sunset. And then I don't know. Sir Dev Patel is just like, fuck it, let's follow him, dude. Whatever.
And that's what they did. And then they get to the place where he's like, it's like another vision sequence almost, where his girlfriend's still there, but it's like a different version of his girlfriend, Alicia Vikander, who's also badass in this movie. Fantastic, always great. One of the best.
She can do no wrong, honestly. Michael Fassbender, you dirty dog, you.
So awesome. We get that sequence where she shows up, and then she's kind of into him, but he's like, I don't know, this is weird, and like, her husband was like, hey, I'm gonna go get some fox or some deer for you. Like he was all he wanted to do was hunt and provide food for our boy.
Are we missing something here? I thought that something else had happened. He leaves wasn't there one more after he leaves the Giants? I thought there was one more thing, because when he finally when he shows up at the castle, he's like really fucking tired.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be wrong, man. I mean, it's so like, everything just it hasn't even sank in yet. So maybe you're right. Maybe because I think he was pretty tired when he was like running up the rocks or whatever to try and yell at the Giants. So you're probably right. Either way, we'll circle back to that if we remember. If we think about it. But yeah, so he shows up at this castle like tired and worn out, and our boy Joel Edgerton is there. Also, one of my favorites. The guy can do no wrong, in my opinion. And so, Alicia Vikander in dual roles. I guess we should have brought that up earlier. She was his love interest back at Camelot.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like a beggar lady, and here she's like, she's the queen or whatever of the castle. So, go to these. Go. Never mind. And I'm thinking of Borat, king of the castle. Go to these. And so I was just the queen of the castle. It's just, and I don't know, man. I feel like I hijacked whatever it was you were gonna say. So fucking.
That whole sequence. Yeah, this is still building on the WTF because it's like, you have the same gal, weird relationship going on there, and just trying to figure out, like, at first she's like, you know what, can you paint me like your French girls, Jack? And he's like, I don't know if we should do this or not, but I'm going to do it anyway. And she's like, okay, let's do the portrait. And they do it. And it's like a photograph kind of deal. And I think sometime around that same sequence, like she was just, I don't know, he kissed her, I guess. And
I mean, she provides some tension like right away. I knew the second she's like giving him these, fuck me eyes, and it's like there's this tension mounting, and it's like they're close all the time. And I was like, dude, I think I even looked over at my wife and I was like, she like it the way his dick tastes, She wanna know what a way the dick tastes. And so yeah, dude, she's hungry eyes. And yeah, it just makes it weird. Yeah, and Joel Edgerton's like, first of all, he collapses when he gets there, and he wakes up like unclothed, and the people know who he is, but it's never really explained how they know or why they're so welcoming, like, so that was weird. And I will say, whenever there's like a shot above him when he's in the bed, and the oh God, Brad, what do you call it? The like curtains, the bed curtains or whatever. No, the bed curtains or whatever, they like go way up, but the camera's coming down. I mean, I know it was just for a visual effect.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, but it just adds to that dreamlike quality, like the trance state that it's kind of in or whatever. And the camera's like spinning as it comes down. Great fucking shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, from the second that he wakes up there, she is wanting to bang. And then there's also this inexplicable old lady who has her eyes covered. I mean, maybe that's what they did with the blind back in the 1452s. I don't know. That's not really my cup of tea. But, she walks around blindfolded, nevertheless, doesn't really say anything. But
it's a blind date.
She's always there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even when they, were they fucking at the time in the bedroom, or were they like, was that a handy, or what? Like, what happened in there?
I think that he got a tuggy with that sash.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Is what I think happened. I don't think there was any penetration. And I will say, I'm proud of the MPAA for including the splooge scene in there, because that usually would be something that got cut out. And so I was like, well, that's interesting. I don't see that.
Not since Don't Breathe have I seen the splooge. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. Yeah.
Yeah. They have something against semen. So.
Yeah, so it worked. It was still in there, and but the point being, the blind lady was in there too, and that really freaked our boy out, and he got out of town at that point.
I mean, imagine, and he's handed this sash earlier in the film, and then he loses it, and then suddenly this chick makes one that's like exactly the same, presumably the same one is what the vibe that I got. She's like, oh, I made it for you. There's magical shit in here, and then she gives him a tuggy with it, which, I mean, honestly, I didn't really see the problem there, but then. He fucking glances over, and Granny's watching the whole time. So then he gets a little freaked out.
It doesn't matter. Dude. She can't see anything anyway.
Like, she just wandered in here. Who cares?
For all she knows, she's down there, somewhere else in the house. Like in the bowling room or whatever. Like, she's not.
Yeah, I'd be like, there's no one else in here but me.
But he gets freaked out, and so like he bounces at that point. And this sash has witchcraft in it. Essentially, is what the story says, and he can't be killed by anything. Essentially, if you have that bad boy on, so he wears it throughout the rest of the story, for most of the rest of the story. And so that happens. Of course, the husband guy, your boy Joel, is like, whatever you win what does he say? Whatever I'll give you my hunting findings if you give me what you win at the chapel or whatever.
He says anything you find and anything that you come across in the house, you give to me, and I'll go out and hunt, and I will get the best. Damn it, man! I gotta quit drinking. I'll go out and hunt, and I'll bring you back the best meat that I can find, and whatever you find in the house in return, you give that to me. So it's a trade-off. And so he, basically just, he got a tuggy from his wife. And so he's like running out into the woods, trying to get away. And Joel Edgerton's like, I know everything, buddy. You get that hand over here, and how funny would that have been if he would have jumped off his horse and he just had cock hanging already, and he was like, come here, young man." But that's not the case. Instead, what he does is come over and give him a kiss. And so basically, he's giving the kiss that he got from his wife, right? The tuggy, I guess, in the form of a kiss back to Joel Edgerton, which is also kind of a what the fuck moment. But honestly, and so Joel Edgerton gives him the kiss, and then sends him on his way, and which is kind of like a what the fuck moment. But honestly, I let it slide and was way cooler with that than the Giants. It made more sense to me, than the Giants did, and it's a very small moment. And then he's like, "Go on." I was actually hoping Joel Edgerton would like take him there. His role was way too small, but also I love the guy. So yeah, he goes on, and before he goes though, Joel Edgerton hands him the fox, gives him the fox back. So I was under the impression at this point that was going to be like his companion all the way up to the Green Chapel,
Yeah.
That doesn't turn out to be the case. And so what do you think about that final act there?
So yeah, he gets the fox back, and yeah, he's like, oh, he's about to go down the river, and the fox is like, he starts talking, dude. The fox starts talking at this point. He's like, bro, don't go this way. You're gonna get fucked. Essentially, is what he said in layman's terms. That's what I gathered here. But he ignores the fox. He's like, damn, I didn't want to be your friend anyway. He swings the axe at him. He runs off, and he goes his own way. And then he gets to the chapel, and he sits there and he waits for a while. He lays the axe down, and he kneels, and he's just waiting. It seems like a day passes or whatever, and the knight wakes up, and then, dude, that sequence. Man, okay, so he wakes up, and then he comes down. He's like, all right, I'm going to chop your head off like you did mine, essentially. And it goes on for a minute. He keeps swinging, and he's like, no, let's not do this yet. I'm not ready. He keeps freaking out. He's freaking out big time. And then he gets this freaking premonition, which reminded me of damn Lord of the Rings 3. It goes on forever, dude. This premonition he has, I guess, or whatever, where he escapes the Green Knight, and he goes back to the the Camelot, and he goes back out there, and King Arthur passes away. He becomes the king, and his girl has a baby, but then he's like, no, I don't want the girl anymore.
Well, I think that he's the king, and so he can't have a child with like this just regular woman. And so then he is presented with a queen, and I'm not hijacking. I just wanted to put this part in there because I'm not sure if you noticed this or not. But then he's presented with a queen that is actually the ghost chick from earlier.
Ah, I didn't even notice that, dude. That's a good call. Yeah, the ghost.
So that it also kind of goes into the whole dream, dream-like thing or whatever. Kind of plays into that. But yeah, I think that's why, because they keep the child, but she's not allowed to have anything to do with it. So basically, I think they come in, they take the child, and because kings have bastard sons or whatever, but you can't know who the mother is or whatever.
Yeah,
that whole rigmarole, something along those lines. And so they cast her back into the streets, and I'm not really sure, was she a hooker? I mean, was that the whole thing?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So, and I think that's why that he can't have a child with her or whatever. So they banish her, and then he marries some other chick.
Yeah. And then ultimately we kind of just we go down the road. I think his son dies in battle, and he ends up losing his head after he takes the sash off.
Well, and at the very end, after all of this that he's accomplished or not accomplished, he's lived this entire life. His beard is graying at the ends, and he's sitting there, and I guess an enemy has finally come to claim Camelot. The walls are shaking, dirt's falling from the ceiling, and as everything's getting ready to come in, he finally and it's alluded to through several other scenes that he never takes his sash off, that green magical sash, even when he's fucking, when he meets his other wife for the first time, no matter what, he was in the shower, You know what I mean? And when he had to get a colonoscopy, whatever, dude. And nothing pulls that sash off there. You know, I think he got like a medical procedure or maybe a dick enlargement, whatever it was. He never takes the
Sash is
sash
still there.
off. And then at the very end, the walls are closing in, and his family is like, they're all freaking out. They all run to safety, and he finally takes the sash off, and basically his fucking head pops right off.
Yeah, like pretty much like that parakeet from Dumb and Dumber.
Pretty bird. He didn't even have a head. Harry, I took care of it.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. But then it cuts back to we didn't know this was a premonition at the time. We just thought it was it's going into the future, and it cuts back to where he's kneeling in front of the Green Knight, and at that point he takes the sash off. He's like, "Oh, I'm not ready. Hold on a second." As he's about to swing, and he pulls the sash off, and he's like, "Okay, now I'm ready." But now he's calm, he's cool, and he's collected, which is different from what we've seen throughout the whole movie. He hasn't been that calm at any point. And then the dude, the big green giant, he comes in and he says, the Green Knight, of course, he's like, "Oh yeah, way to go, my little brave giant," or whatever he said, or "my brave knight." And, and then he says, "Now off with your head." And it changes to freaking the credits, man. And it's like this little picture credit thing. And it was just like, God dang, what the hell, man? At that point, there's a lot to not a lot of closure there at the end, as my wife would say.
Yeah, I mean, I had a take on it, and I don't know if it's right or not. I just thought that I don't know. I mean, I still have to digest it a little bit, but the gist that I got at the very end was that he gets in the boat and he goes there, and I actually think that he arrives there a day early.
Yeah,
Because
I think so too. Because he doesn't wake up.
That's why he has to sit there and wait. And I don't think that the Green Giant says, or the Green Giant. Yeah, this whole thing was a fucking advertisement for canned asparagus. The Green Giant, come on, man. The Green Knight, he stands up, and I do want to say, like, the Ralph Ineson or Innocent, I'm not sure how they say his name or whatever. I couldn't imagine anyone else playing this role. I think that David Lowery probably was like, "You're the Green Knight," and if he would have said no, he probably would have scrapped this entire project. You know what I mean? Like, the voice, and he's the guy who played the father in The Witch, and he was in something more recently. He has the deepest, like, coolest voice.
He's got the hell of a voice, man.
Yeah, I can't believe he doesn't get more voice work, or it's like doing voiceover for Ford or something.
Yeah,
I guess they still got Josh Lucas, but at any rate, I couldn't imagine anyone else playing that role, and I think that he does it so great. And I love that character of the Green Knight. I think it's awesome. But nevertheless, when he comes down, he picks up the axe, and he's on the first swing before he flinches, or maybe in the second flinch or thereabouts. The Green Sir Gawain is like he has this line where he says, he's sort of in disbelief. I think he thought that something else was going to happen. There was going to be like a deal struck or something, and he realizes that, like, he really is about to die. And so he says the line, is this really all there is? And so the Green Knight looks at him and says, "What else is there?" And then it goes into this whole thing. And I almost, in my mind, I played it out as like, this is him thinking about, what else is there in life or whatever. And he pictures this whole future, like, what really is going to happen if I just run out of here and I go back. And I think that at the end, when he finally takes the sash off and we see that sort of idea in his head, he's like, he lived, like, for that split second, he's thinking about it, like he lived that whole life. And I think at the end of it, they're still tearing down the door. You know what I mean? He's still not with the woman that he loves, and all this other stuff. And then when it cuts back, I think that's when he's like, he's almost like at peace with his fate or whatever, and that's when he takes the sash off and is like, "You know what? I'm okay with this. This is my honor is, like, right here, right now. And, no matter what happens, this fate is always going to befall me." I guess I don't really know how else to say it. And so that's whenever the Green Knight is like, it gives him like a little comforting touch of the cheek, and he's like, "You're brave, blah, blah, blah." And even though I do appreciate the cheeky one-liner when he says, like, "Now off with your head," I probably could have done without it. But that was my take on it. Did you get that vibe from it, or did you think
You
there
know,
was something
I
else
that's
going
a
on?
really good point. Actually, that opened up my eyes to a whole new ending here. Because mine was more like, oh, this guy. I just for me, it wasn't. No, that's. I mean, that change that makes it more of a happy ending. I guess you could say more of a like a he fulfilled his honor and he knows he got the most out of life that he wanted. At that point. And he didn't lose his honor in the process. Whereas if you interpret it any other way, well, at least if it went out the way of the original ending, not the original ending, but the premonition ending, and he goes through, yeah, you get a sense that he loses his honor or whatnot. Obviously, with the way he lives out the rest of his life, and not that he gets to be king and stuff. He's still rocking and rolling, man. But he's just, it's just not the way he wants to do it. And you know, I think that makes the ending a little bit better. Kind of what you're saying there.
Well, the other thing I picked up on was like they talk about honor throughout, and then he says, "What are you doing it for?" Joel Edgerton asking this at the castle, and he says, "On
Yeah.
for honor. Why does a knight do what he does?" And I think in a lot of those scenes where he's sort of having that flash forward or that premonition, whatever you want to call it, he never looks happy in a single scene, and I think that there's like some like resolution in his mind where like I could probably run out of here and I could go back and I could save face and keep this sash on, but I'm not really gonna. I'm never, he's always gonna know that he's kind of a fraud. That his honor is fraudulent, and that he's always got to look over his shoulder or whatever. And so I think he takes the sash off and says, this is my resolution. I'll die with my honor here. I don't know. That's what I took from it. Maybe, you know, get some comment. Oh no.
No, yeah, I think that's
Oh,
great. I
dude, I
think
thought you were frozen.
no, I was just contemplating life over here, like just thinking about all the different
Yeah, I
ways
was
that
just saying.
could have went. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it
get some comments rolling and see what everybody else thinks. But that's just kind of the way that I took it. I don't know.
yeah, I can dig that. A lot of failure throughout the movie, and I think maybe at the end, he had, he fulfilled what he set out to do. So at
Right.
the end of the day, so yeah, it's a great story. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, I dug it. It was, I would be, uh, I don't know. I think the only qualm that I really had with it, or the only adjustment that I probably would have made if it had been my movie, I probably would not have done the flash forward. I really wanted him to just swing the axe and kill him there at the end. Just almost, but I'm always one to be like, I'm watching it with a group of people and I know that everyone's like, he's going to live, he's going to live. And I just wanted to see him chop his head off. If nothing else, just to subvert expectation. But I probably would have just had him go there and then he flinches a couple of times and then, he just gives him like the calming touch of the cheek and then he swings the axe and we cut to black. That's probably how I would have ended it. But all in all, I thought it was good. It definitely requires a second viewing, I think, in my opinion, to really digest everything. And it's definitely a little bit different than what the trailer made it out to be, in my opinion. I think that it was just a tad different. But good nonetheless.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought there's a lot of story there. There's a lot to dig into. There's a lot to look into after you watch the movie, which is, I mean, for me, that's always a win because I like to do that. There's a lot of research you can do on your own and look into the history of this poem and everything and whatnot, which I think is awesome. And on top of that, you have fantastic cinematography in this thing and just effective storytelling all around. And yeah, I mean, a great atmosphere. Really feeling the environment that we're in here. Really feeling the time frame, the 1400s, and yeah, I mean, great performances all around too.
Yeah, I forgot
Absolutely.
to give a shout out to Dev Patel because I mean
Yeah.
he's in almost every scene of the movie and he leads this thing and it's great to see him. I mean I know that he's been in some indie stuff here lately that I haven't caught. That's been he's been recognized for and stuff like that. But it is good to see him in a starring role in a movie that's getting pretty big distribution. So I thought that
Definitely.
he did a great job.
Yeah, man, that's pretty it. He did fantastic, and I just got a quick shout out. It's just awesome to see this kind of movie in the theater. An A24 movie really provides some great crowds because we had a pretty crowded theater today, but they were all freaking silent the whole movie, like just really digging into it. Nobody was talking, and that's what you'll find with these movies because you're not going to get a lot of general moviegoers going to these movies. Like just your more casual moviegoers, just because it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It's a nice crowd, really nice crowd. But anyway, that's about it, man. You got anything else you want to mention?
I don't think so, man. Like I said, a couple qualms, but not much. I think it does require a second viewing. But all in all, it was really fun watch. It's really it's a really good movie. And I will say to that end about the A24 stuff, we were not in a packed theater, but we did have a pretty big crowd there. And as we were walking out, I did overhear some people say we should have seen Jungle Cruise.
I heard a lot of people saying, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But I think overall, I mean, yeah. Do you rate the thing, man? What kind of rating you gonna throw out? Yeah.
Oh man, instant reaction. I'm probably gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I think that's probably my. I may end up. It may be a little bit higher. I feel like I liked it a lot, but I wanted 4 is safe. I know 4 is the floor. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll go up upon repeat viewings or whatever. But for me, I'd give it a 4 because I did enjoy it quite a bit.
I did too. I'm gonna go with a 4.25. I think. I mean, again, that's a floor too. I've been battling between that and a 4.5, just because at this point, like, man, I'm still. I mean, it has nowhere to go but up. I'll put it that way. I just got to figure out what the hell happened before I make any kind of determinations. But overall, I think it was a great movie, great story, and I'm excited to read more about it. Yeah, you got anything else you'd like to say? By the way, that's going to be a trip to the Tashi Station score, by the way.
But I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
Oh, power converters, baby.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so what did you guys think about the movie? Let us know down below. We really want to know your thoughts on it because it is freaking a cluster. Obviously, feel free to do spoilers down there because we're spoiling the hell out of this video. So let us know. Let's talk about it. Spoiler-filled discussion down below. What did you think of it? If you have any insight on what the hell this thing's about, or what some of the deeper meanings are behind some of these items, the giants and whatnot, just let us know. Of course, our links are in the description for all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, TikTok, Snapchat, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. As you can see right there, you can find those down below. And like I said earlier, like and share this thing. Please do that so we can get to 400 before Spider-Man comes out and see the Birdman.
Yes, let us see Burt in a skin-tight Spider-Man costume, just walking right up to the box office, just one for Spider-Man, please.
Slinging webs, dog. Anyway,
yeah.
So that's it for now. We will see you guys. Be sure to check out some of our more A24 content coming up too if you like these things, because we got some good ones coming. But anyway, we will see you guys very soon.
Next time.
Donde está?
What?